Hello! I just want to show just a quick activity, and this one is geared towards preschoolers or toddlers that are just working on those very first pre-writing strokes. So the very first pre-writing line that children learn is the vertical line, or just simply a line down. And for some kids that might be where they're at. Initially they're just going to be scribbling, so this is kind of the first step moving past that scribbling, is just working on that line down. And so one fun way to work on this is by having them use stickers or just 2 circles and then on a fridge. So I'll show you that here. So as I was saying, here's just a really simple activity. If you've got magnets and can just put it up on the fridge, great. If you don't have magnets, do you have just some masking tape, something like that, and you can even put it on a wall. Just be careful, kids get wild, you may get crayon on the wall. So the fridge might be a better bet. And so I just got these cute stickers at the dollar store. Really fun. If you don't have stickers, just use circles. Smiley faces are also fun. And then what I always tell parents is to use these small broken crayons. So, take your crayons, you can get them at the dollar store, whatever, but just go ahead and break them into about thirds, and that's going to really help promote a tripod grasp. They can't do some of the funky grasp that they can on the full crayon. So let me show you. With the full crayon, they can do the full fist, and then I often see this deal too, and that one I find is hard to break, and it's really not a functional grasp where they've got all their fingers on it and spread out. So definitely trying to go more with the broken crayon if you're working on developing that tripod grasp. This will really help. So keep that in mind. Other things is small broken pieces of chalk work well also, so that would be great. And then the advantage to having this on the fridge rather than just on a table is they can stand, so that's great. Our little ones don't like to sit for long periods, but also it's going to help with writing on what we call a vertical surface like this. It helps promote wrist extension. So what that means is normally when we write, our wrist bends up, right? But some kids, especially with fine motor delays, they really tend to have their wrist even kind of hooked, and this is just not a very good habit. Isn't going to give them very good control. We really want to work on that wrist extension. So having things on a vertical surface like a whiteboard, a wall, a fridge are great, and there are tons of ideas online for working on vertical surfaces, but this is just a real simple, easy one. And then as you can see, you just give them the crayon, and I already had done this one, but you just can tell them, connect the blue with the purple and really have them work on just connecting. You might have to do it the first 2 times so that they can see it and then imitate it, or maybe you even make the first lines, all of them, and then they go in with a different color and you do multiple colors. So you 3 or 4 different colors, just practicing that vertical line. And then of course you can move on to some of those other pre-writing lines and shapes. I'll show you those quickly. So here are those pre-writing lines and shapes that I mentioned. So these are shapes that kids really have to master before they can move on to handwriting. So I do have kind of the rough ages that research has shown kids develop these shapes, but just keep in mind every kid is different. Some kids it will be much later, especially if they have fine motor delays or other things that make this harder for them. So keep that in mind and just meet them where they're at. I think the important thing here is just to see the progression. So if they can do a circle and they can do the intersecting lines, then the next one to try is the square. And then those slanted lines can be particularly challenging for kids. But obviously in handwriting, there's a lot of slanted lines and letters. Even your capital A has those slanted lines. So really working on those. But if you find that they're really struggling with the slanted lines, then go back and they do the square. And if they haven't mastered that yet, you can always step it back. So just in summary, working on vertical surfaces is great. If you guys want more ideas with that, just Google it. But Pinterest has lots of fun ideas, and there's just so many blogs and everything online with fun ideas for working on vertical surfaces. And then just remember, you're wanting to use just those small I show you those small broken crayons are great, and just working on their pre-writing shapes and meet them where they're at. And if you want a better visual of pre-writing shapes, just Google that as well, and there's lots of images of the pre-writing shapes and their normal progression. Thanks everyone.